Welcome to the CEO Launch Podcast.
We are a dynamic mother-daughter duo bringing you personality, insights, and practical advice from two different generations of entrepreneurship.
We aren't just mother and daughter. We are also best friends and business partners.
I've watched my mom help thousands of entrepreneurs start the businesses of their dreams, including me. And now it's your turn. Hey, CEO Launch family. Welcome to episode 16. Last week, we talked about how to take the straight and narrow route in your business and make sure that you aren't cutting corners. If you haven't listened to that episode, please go listen to Just Clean the Bathroom. It'll change your life. Now, this week, we're discussing how important it is to be true to yourself. This is one of the few episodes where my mom will admit that she is actually just as stubborn as me. And I'm very excited about this story coming up because I heard from a little birdie that you talk a lot about the 3-year-old and her pants story and how stubborn she was and she didn't want to wear pants for a year. But I heard that somebody else was a stubborn 3-year-old too. So what's the tea?
You know what? Until you put it like that, I never thought of myself as a stubborn 3-year-old like you. So thank you for enlightening me, Kenya. That's just kind of like what you do, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm here for.
So my story is this. Just to give you some background, my mom is right-handed and she has impeccable handwriting. Like, she cannot scribble. If she's just jotting down notes, it's going to be perfect. She forms every single letter perfectly. She could be a kindergarten teacher if she liked kids enough to do something like that. But she could be a kindergarten teacher because she has the best handwriting I've ever seen in my life. In fact, her handwriting looks like my kindergarten teacher's handwriting. My dad, on the other hand, is left-handed, and he has the worst handwriting. And it's probably worse now being older, but my dad's handwriting has never been all that great. And so my mom associated bad handwriting with being left-handed. So when I was a little girl, when she saw me pick up the crayon with my left hand, she freaked out. She's like, oh my gosh, there's no way that my kid is going to be left-handed and write like her daddy. And so every time I picked up the crayon with my left hand, my mom would put the crayon in my right hand. And me, being Bernadette and who I was, I've been this person, obviously, all my life. When she put the crayon in my right hand, I put it back in my left hand. And we went back and forth on this for a long time to where she finally, just like me, when Kenya didn't want to wear pants and I finally conceded, my mom just finally was like, oh gosh, this girl is going to be left-handed. So let her be left-handed. So I will say that because I was left-handed, she did do extra practice with me when it came to penmanship. She made sure that even though I was left-handed, I had nice handwriting like her and not bad handwriting like my dad. And so, so that's my story. I admit, Kenya's right. I was just as stubborn. So I guess it was my payback. Like, when you bucked up at me at 3 years old, this was my payback for being just as stubborn when I too was a 3-year-old who knew exactly what I wanted.
Yeah, and the payback scares me because I think yours might have stopped around 3 and mine just kept on going.
I can't wait to be...
Yeah. In advance, pray for me and my offspring that we make it out alive. Because apparently we got a little gene in us that make us not listen to our mamas.
It's not so much that we didn't listen to our moms. I think really, it is really what this show is about. We were just being true to who we were. And there was really, when I look at the science that's behind it, there was no way for her to make me right-handed because that's who I was. I'm a left-handed person. Now, I did learn how to do a lot of stuff right-handed. And so I really feel like I'm ambidextrous, but I do write and I do the primary functions with my left hand. But there are some things I know how to cut right-handed. I bowl right-handed. So it's a lot of things that I learned how to do right-handed, but I'm a lefty. And so that's just who I was. And there was nothing that she could do to change that. Even at 3 years old, I was like, nope,
Give me the crayon. We're going to do what we was doing before. And I think kind of tying that back to business, right? A lot of times, especially as entrepreneurs, we likely start businesses for a specific purpose. Like you come into business with something in mind, some particular why of why you wanted to do this. And you may not have figured out all the steps, but at your core, you have that why. And it's so super important that when people try to take you away from that why, that you do like you put it right back in the left hand.
The correct hand, yes.
Yeah, the correct hand, and you keep writing the way that you want to write, because you have to be true to who you are and make sure that you are, as we said in the last episode, doing things that make sense, but make sense to you. My funny example is I thought about a particular gym who we'll call them Redacted Gym. And that this particular gym, they like to give out pizza to people in the middle of workouts. And so for me, it's like, are you staying true to like the mission of fitness? You know, for me, that's like having a twerk contest at church. It just don't really,
they don't
really fit.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I know with me, when I think about different things in my business, I've turned down business. As early in business as I am, I have turned people down that doesn't fit with my mission, because it's been like, I have a big thing, my like number one rule when I explain my business to people that I partner with, to my interns, things like that, I'm like, this is the one thing that you need to know about Au Claire Vision. We do not help people get jobs for the sake of getting jobs. I love helping people find their career. I love helping people find their passion, but I am not going to help you work or do your resume to find another 9-to-5 that you're going to hate in 5 to 9 months. We'll say that.
Or a job that you're just trying to get, a summer job or a job before you start graduate school or something like that. Yeah, that's not.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. And I don't want to do that, not because I don't care about you as a person, but my overall goal and the thing that makes me stay true to myself is that I want to change the way that we look at work. Me putting you back into the same cycle of working for the sake of working doesn't do that. And because it doesn't do that, it's going to waste your money and it's going to waste my time, because I'm not working towards the mission and the vision that I set out in the beginning. I think it's important for people to think back to that. Like a lot of times people, especially with clients, potential clients, want to put you into certain boxes and they want you to be a certain way to fit what they need, but you still have the opportunity as the business owner to select your clientele.
Yeah, and be able to turn it down. So just like you, a lot of times people think as accountants that we do any and everything related to money. And I get that misconception a lot. And there probably are accountants that do any and everything related to money. But me, I am a small business accountant. I work with small business owners, helping them to understand their business finances, helping them to stay in the good graces of the IRS, helping them to grow and establish their business. The only thing that I do on a personal level is tax preparation. So I'm not helping you with a budget. I'm not helping you pick stocks. I'm not helping you figure out what to invest your money in. That's not something that I do. And I'm very happy to turn that business down, because in addition to it not being something that is to the core of who I am, I don't feel like I'm going to be able to provide you with the excellent level of service that I would if you were a fit for me. So I think it really comes down to, as business owners, you have to think about what it is that you do, what you do well, what you enjoy doing, and where you can provide the most value as it relates to the services. And don't take on any business that's not going to allow you to be able to do that, right?
Right. We say this a lot. You have to be very intentional and you have to have a lot of integrity when it comes to the type of business that you want to do, because you also don't want to be known as the person that takes on any and everybody, like, oh, such and such.
Oh, they'll take anything. And we talked about, remember in episode 8, we talked about before you quit your day job and how it's really important to have the resources to be able to pay your bill from that day job so that you aren't forced into taking any and everything, right? So when you are not depending on your business to live in those growth stages, you can be particular and you can specify like, no, I don't do this, but I do that. So I think that's also key. So if you missed episode 8, go back and listen to it. Yeah, because that one is a good episode that kind of ties in to this episode too.
So let's talk about our takeaways. I know that's usually your line, but I wanted to take it today.
You got it. You did a great job too.
I sounded just like you, huh? So yes, let's talk about our takeaways. I think the first thing that you have to do to stay true to yourself as a business owner is understand why you got in business. I know so many people talk about this book, and I think it really is an incredible book for anybody thinking about being an entrepreneur or even life. Start with Why by Simon Sinek. It is a great book that can create a foundation of you understanding how other companies stick to their why and how you can create and stick to your why. Because when you don't have anything to go back to, like we said, you fall into those pitfalls of accepting any and everything from any and everybody. And that ranges not just from clients, that's partnerships. Those are employees, vendors, contractors, all of those things. And when you don't have that grounding and that foundation, that affects your overall branding, your reputation, and how people perceive you as a business owner. So you want to make sure that your why is very solid and that when people interact with you, once that your brand can become recognized amongst others, that it's clear like, oh, this business, I know that By the Book Accounting is here for keeping small businesses in business. And that's what she does. And that's what she's about. Because you know what else it helps with? Referrals.
Yeah, you're right. Because when you are not clear and you take on any and everybody as a client, those are referrals that you get. Now, that's why you have to also be careful about who you accept as clients, because those people have friends. Right. And so when you accept somebody, and Lord, let me tell you, I have plenty of stories where you accept somebody who is not ideal, and not only are they terrible, but they send their terrible
friends your way.
But this is another thing that I wanted to say about knowing and understanding why you got into business, because when you deviate from that why, what you've essentially done is you have created another job that you hate. Yeah, seriously, you created another job that you hate because you're doing things that deviated from the whole purpose of why you got into this business. You started this business because XYZ, but you're doing ABC. And ABC is not what you started this business for. So now it's like, oh my gosh, you ever got a job and you thought you was getting hired to do this, and they got you making coffee and running errands and doing all kind of stuff. And it's like, and that's what you do in your business. When you're not true to who you are or who you say you are, you've created that job, another job that you hate.
Right. Without all the benefits of having a job. So you got a job that you hate, that you can't clock out at 5, that don't have no real health insurance, that don't match your 401k, none of the good stuff. You ain't got no dental insurance, got to go to America's Best to get your vision. It's just not it.
This girl is so crazy.
So you don't want to create that job. I think that's a great example. Kind of going back to what we mentioned about referrals, something that's important for you to know when you're thinking about understanding your why. Confused customers don't buy anything, not a near thing. They buy nothing because they don't understand what you sell. If nobody gets what you are selling, if nobody gets what you're promoting, if nobody understands your purpose in business, they're not going to align with it. They're not about to attach with it. How many times have you lotion, for example? Now, we may not all know the reasons why certain lotions were created, but there are certain things that we associate with particular brands that we know. Like for me, I don't like the cocoa butter because I think it's a little runny and it don't really do it for me and it kind of stick. That's nasty to me. But some people be into that. And there are particular reasons you'll see 15,000 lotion brands, but you go to the one that you have been using your whole life for a particular reason. Either it makes you feel a certain way, it smells like your grandma, or it's cheap. There is a why.
Or if it's me, it doesn't have a scent because I can't stand. Yeah, I hate perfumey stuff. So,
which is weird.
Yeah, I know.
I dealt with it. It's just weird.
That's not. Yeah, that's not stay there. So we just know. So right, as consumers, like we do. We know what it is that we want, what it is that we don't want, and we are not going to buy from a business that's confusing. I remember this one time that this person reached out to me and was like introducing themselves, and then they sent me to their website to see more about what they do. And when I went to their website, I was confused. I did not know what they did because it was, listen to me, if anybody remembers what MySpace was like, when you logged into MySpace and everybody had different profiles and you could go to people's profiles and they had music playing and it was just so much. That's what it reminded me of. It reminded me of MySpace. It was just too much going on and nothing really resonated with me. So don't be like that. And I'm not going to shout them out. It will just say redacted.com.
Redacted.com. Don't be like redacted.com or org. Or nothing. You don't want to be redacted because the people that we mention are good people. Anybody that we redact is so we don't be liable. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we don't want to hurt their feelings, but we do want to help. We want to help somebody, right?
Right.
So let's jump to our last takeaway. And I think the last takeaway that we wanted to share is to think about how each part of your business reflects your mission, right? So when you have that overall arching mission, for me, keeping small business in business, what are the things that you do in your business to be able to do that? And you want to make sure that there's some connection there.
Right. And I think that intentionality sets you apart. It even helps you have conversations about the things that you do. You may be a service that offers 15 different things, but if you can connect each of those things back to your overall mission, it still shows that consistency and it shows that you are constant and that you are purposeful in your business. That makes all the difference. I promise you. When people see that passion, they see that purpose in you, they want to do business with you. They want to be a part of it because they attach to your mission. They attach to your why and they want to see you shine. So just to wrap up the episode, I'm doing your part too. I'm just kidding. You go ahead, wrap it up.
No, I think you've done a great job. Even when you took over, I think you did a great job. And so I think, again, this episode, we were just talking about being true to who you say you are, right? Be who you say you are. So we always have fun. We hope you did too. And thanks again for being with us in this 16th episode of the CEO Launch. This is so amazing. Like, we've been doing this for 4 months now.
We have been doing this for 4 months.
Yeah, this is so awesome. So thank you guys for being with us. Join us next week where we are going to talk about perfection isn't real.
It's not real.
It's not real. So if you haven't already, join our online community, the Efficient CEO Movement, where we will continue the conversation.
And follow us on social media at the CEO Launch.
See you next week.
And don't forget to take off.
This is a Clearwood production.